The House is now considering the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Bill number 7 of the year 2025, yet again by the chair of the Finance and Budget Committee. The bill is being considered by the Senate at the Committee of the Whole, and the chair sought to move an amendment that clause 3 of the bill be deleted by deleting the expression appearing immediately after the words under article by substituting therefore with expression 204 subsection 2. The items in question is with respect to Kitui County, and this is by deleting the word Kisumu appearing immediately after the expression of 30th of June 2026 and substituting therefore with the word Kitui. Let's now have a look at the Equalization Fund Appropriations Bill. And this is an act of Parliament to authorize the issue of sum of money out of the Equalization Fund and its application towards the services of the year ending 30th of June 2026, to appropriate the sum for certain funds for certain basic services for the connected purposes. There are a number of counties listed in the bill as some of the beneficiaries from the Equalization Fund. Among the counties set to benefit is the county of Baringo, Bomet, Bungoma, Busia, Elgeyo Marakwet, Garissa, Homa Bay, Isiolo, Kajiado, Kericho, Kilifi, Kisumu, Kitui, Kwale, Laikipia, Lamu, Machakos, Mandera, Marsabit, Meru, Migori, being some of the counties that are set to benefit from the Equalization Fund, with each of the county getting some allocation from the Equalization Fund kitty. The some monies allocated to the counties are set to go to some sectors such as water, roads, health facilities, and electricity. The bill is seeking to authorize the funds out of the Equalization Fund and its application towards the services of 2025-2026 financial year. Article 204, subsection 1 of the Constitution establishes the Equalization Fund to facilitate the provisions of basic services, including water, roads, health facilities, and electricity to marginalized areas of the country, to the extent that the necessary resources and services bring matters to do with quality of services provided to the areas that are perceived to be marginalized to the level generally enjoyed to the rest or by the rest of the nation so far as possible. So basically, these are the monies that are set to uplift some of the regions that have been graded as marginalized counties or regions by providing some monies to, so to speak, elevate them to the level that other perceived development counties are at. The bill proposes a legal framework for the issuance of the monies out of the Equalization Fund to counties in which marginalized areas fall for the provision of these crucial services, being the services of water, electricity, and healthcare facilities. And the statements on delegation of legislative powers and limitation of fundamental rights of freedom, the bill does not delegate legislative powers nor limit fundamental rights of freedom. Statements as to whether the bill concerns the county government. The bill is a bill concerning the county governments, and this is in terms of Article 110, subsection 1A of the Constitution, as it contains provisions affecting the powers and functions of the county governments as set out in the fourth schedule of the Constitution. This bill is a money bill for the purposes of Article 114 of the Constitution, as the enactment of the bill shall occasion the additional expenditure of public funds. This additional expenditure of public funds are said to be diverted or disbursed to counties for the purposes of development of the regions perceived to be marginalized.
Give it 1 minute. Oh, 1 minute.
The county allocation of
Honorable members, we are proceeding to division on the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025. Please, can you please draw the bars, Sergeant at Arms? And you can log out and log in again. Log out, please. Please log out. Log in again. Honorable Senators, I'm proceeding now to put the question, and I'm putting the question on the clauses with amendments. I put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed. Senator Eddie, I hope you are concentrating on voting. I put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed. Please proceed to vote. We will verify the results before we go to the next division. Senator Mazayo, where are you? Or he didn't vote? Senator Mazayo, you have not voted. Can you proceed to vote? We are moving to the next division on all clauses. I put the question that clause 3, clause 4, clause 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the first schedule, the second schedule is amended, clause 2, the third, and clause 1 be part of the bill. Please proceed to vote. Senator Mazayo, please vote. Please vote. He's now voted. Okay. Don't be distracted, Senator Mazayo. Stay on the vote, stay in the house. We are now moving to, we will announce the results and then move to the next bill. These are the results of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025. On the first division, ayes 29, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. On the second division, ayes 29, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. We are proceeding to the next bill, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2025. I now want to put the question. I put the question that clause 3 and the schedule be amended as proposed. You can start voting. Honorable Senators, 3 senators have not voted. Please proceed to vote. If you haven't voted, please vote. Let's see. Who's not voted? Senator Mulgo, please approach the desk. We are proceeding to the second division on all clauses. I put the question that clause 3 is amended, clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, the schedule is amended, clause 2, the title, and clause 1 be part of the bill. Honorable Senators, you may proceed to vote. One senator has not voted. Please confirm whether you voted. It's now done. These are the results of the first and second division of the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. First division, ayes 29, nay 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it. Second division, ayes 29, nay 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it. And that's the end of the division in the two bills.
Call upon
We are proceeding on with the reporting, and I want to request Senator Roba, the chair, to move.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate the consideration of County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. We are moving to the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. And I invite the chairperson to come and move.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendment.
I put the question that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. We are remaining with one division for the third reading, so we request senators not to leave the chamber before we do that.
Sergeant at Arms, the bus can be drawn and doors opened. We are now reporting on the bill by the Committee of the Whole, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025. Chairperson?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Mover?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to move that the Honorable House do agree with the committee on the said report, and I request Senator Faki to second.
Senator Faki?
I rise to second.
I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Order, honorable senators. Senator Matthew, please take your seat. The mover, Senator Roba, can you move for third reading?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the county allocation.
Honorable Senator, let's listen to Senator Roba in silence, please.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, be now read a third time, and I request Senator Sifuna to second.
Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
I put the question, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, be read. Sorry. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025, be now read a third time, division to be deferred. Division to be done later, sorry. Honorable Senators, we are now reporting on the bill by the Committee of the Whole, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. Chairperson.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report, and I request Senator Kinyua to second.
Senator Kinyua.
I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2025, be now read a third time. And I would like to request Senator Wambua to second.
Senator Wambua.
I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Equalization Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 720 of 2025, be now read a third time. I put the question that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025, be now read a third time. Sergeant at Arms, can you ring the bell for 5 minutes? Can you ring the bell for 2 minutes? Honorable Senators, please settle down. We are voting on the county allocations first. Uh, log out, and Sergeant at Arms, please pick all unattended cards. Senators, you can then log in. Can the voting proceed? Senators, log in and vote, please. Sergeant at Arms, please ensure that the doors are closed. Senator Thangwa, please approach the table. Senator Mazayo, please approach the table. Senator Mazayo, please approach the table. Honorable Senators, I had already put the question on the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. Senator Mundege, please sit down. Honorable Senators, you may log out and log in. Honorable Senators, please. Okay. Yeah, vote, please. You may vote. Honorable Senators, allow me to read the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2025 results. The results are the ayes 34, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. Clerks, you may now read.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2025-2026 financial year, the responsibility of national and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes.
Honorable members, allow me now to read the results for the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2025. The ayes 34, the nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. Clerks, you may read for the second.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of a sum of money out of the Equalization Fund and its application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026 to appropriate that sum for certain public basic services and for connected purposes.
Honorable Senators, Sergeant at Arms, you may now draw the bars and open the doors. Honorable Senators, allow me to rearrange the order paper to prioritize the finance bills. We will then next move to order number 15.
Order number 15, the County Government's Additional Allocations number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025, second reading, resumption of debate.
Senators, Senator Kajwang had 15 minutes left, but I see no one on the screen. Can the mover reply?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to thank the honorable senators who have contributed to the bill in terms of their views. And as I reply, I want to summarize that how to summarize? 1 minute, 1 minute. In summary, the bill proposes to add county government 69.8 billion shilling of additional money to counties, comprising of 2.95 billion from court fines, 20% share of minerals to amounting to 9.95 billion from national government share of revenue.
Honorable Senators, please.
And,
please, Senator Cherarkei, please sit.
56.91
Senator Seki.
billion proceeds from loans and grants are in the third schedule. Madam Speaker, I beg to reply.
Honorable Senators, Sergeant at Arms, can you kindly ring the division bell for 2 minutes? Senators, please don't move out. Sergeant at Arms, you may lock the doors and draw the bars. Honorable Senators, I put the question. Oh, not yet. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the county government's additional allocations bill number 2, Senate bills number 8 of 2025 be now read a second time. Senators, you may now vote. Senator Abbas and Senator Ojenda, please approach the table. Honorable Senators, Senator Cherarke, please sit down. Honorable Senators, we have the results for the county government's additional allocation, number 2 bill, Senate bills, number 8 of 2025. The results are ayes 32, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. Clerk, you may read for the second time.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the additional allocations for county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year, the responsibilities of national government and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes.
Sergeant at Arms, you may withdraw the bars and open the doors. Honorable Senators, we will now go back to order number 7 on the statements.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator Mohamed Faki.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 52-1 to make a statement on a matter of international concern, namely the celebration of the World Snake Day. Madam Speaker, the World Snake Day is celebrated every year on the 16th of July. It is a moment to reflect on the critical yet often misunderstood role that snakes play in maintaining ecological balance across various landscapes. The theme for this year's celebration is respect, do not fear, protecting nature's silent guardians. This theme aligns well with the broader goal of conservation, which involves protecting all species, both large and small, whether admired or feared, because each has a unique and essential place in the web of life. Snakes play an important role in pest control, the health of ecosystems, and preservation of biodiversity. Unfortunately, due to widespread fear, harmful myths, and habitat destruction, snakes are often killed immediately upon sight. These fears are mainly caused by misinformation. It is therefore our responsibility to promote accurate information through education and public awareness. This year's theme reminds us that peaceful coexistence begins with understanding. We must work to change the negative perceptions about snakes, especially within our communities, and foster respect of all wildlife, and not just the well-known or attractive species. As we conduct conservation awareness walks across the country, we encounter many voices and species that highlight one clear truth, that we cannot preserve forests or wildlife in isolation without protecting the ecosystems to which they belong, including snakes. The Wildlife Conservation and Management Act 2023 previously included compensation for snake bite victims as part of human-wildlife conflict. However, this provision was removed in 2019 when the act was amended. It is important to relook into this matter and reinstate the compensation for snake bites victims with adequate safeguards to curb abuse. Additionally, many people lose their lives due to the lack of anti-snake venoms in health facilities across the country. The government should ensure that all health facilities are properly stocked with anti-snake venom, because snakes are present in every part of the country. Madam Speaker, I urge all Kenyans, including community leaders, schools, conservation organizations, and citizens, to take time to learn about our native snake species, understand their roles, and discourage unnecessary killing. Let us teach the next generation to respect rather than fear, and to protect rather than destroy our environment. Together, we can create a future where snakes are not seen as threats, but are essential allies to our conservation journey. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Happy World Snake Day.
Senator Okenyuri. Order, senators, the rights of snakes must be protected.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a statement on the demise and enduring legacy of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato. Madam Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of national concern, namely the demise and enduring legacy of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato, who passed away on Wednesday, 16th July 2025. Madam Speaker, sir, the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato, a former nominated Member of Parliament from Nyamira County, West Mogrango constituency, was the first woman Member of Parliament from the Gusii community. She was nominated by the Kenya African National Union Party, that's KANU, and served with dedication as a member of the 8th Parliament that ran from 1998 to 2002. She was a seasoned politician and a woman of valor who never compromised her beliefs. She was known to be fearless and passionate in what she fought for and never surrendered even in the face of intimidation. Even so, she was both humble and principled and exemplified the spirit of service, which earned her the admiration of colleagues from across the political divide. Madam Speaker, sir, beyond her parliamentary tenure, the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato served as a chairperson of Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization, which I'm a member, through which she amplified the voices of women and girls across the country. She boldly championed women's rights and fought against harmful cultural practices like female genital mutilation, pushed for gender equality in Kenya, and was relentless in her advocacy for women leadership. She also founded the Nyamato Foundation, where she took part in programs geared towards transforming the lives of her people. Madam Speaker, sir, the legacy of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato
Senator
is well
Kenyuri, it's not Madam Speaker, sir.
Oh, sorry. Madam Speaker, the legacy of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato is well documented and will live on generations to come. I offer my most sincere condolences to her family, friends, people of Nyamira County, and nation at large. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Cherarke.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Senate statement on a matter of national concern on the Kaptagat Integrated Conservation Program. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of national concern regarding environmental conservation, particularly the Kaptagat Integrated Conservation Program. Speaker, can I be protected? The Kaptagat Integrated Conservation Program is a visionary
Senator Methu, can you let Senator Cherarke read his statement in peace?
Madam Speaker, the Kaptagat Integrated Conservation Program is a visionary initiative led by Principal Secretary of the National Treasury, Dr. Chris Kipto. It aims to restore and conserve the Kaptagat forest ecosystem while uplifting surrounding communities. The program is aligned with Kenya's national climate goals, supporting the country's target of planting 15 billion trees by the year 2032 and increasing forest cover to 30%. Madam Speaker, the program has been ongoing for several years, with the 9th edition held on 12 July 2025 at Simatwa Boys High School in Elgeyo Marakwet County. Dr. Chris Kipto, who serves as the patron of the initiative, has remained at the forefront of this noble effort. The event was graced by none other, His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, a man of two terms, who attended as the chief guest. It brought together government leaders, conservationists,
Sifuna,
and members of the local community in united effort to safeguard the Kaptagat
there is a point of
ecosystem.
order. Please sit down as the...
Honorable Speaker, the rules of this House require that statements are approved by your office and that when they come to the floor, they shall be read as approved as is. can we confirm from this text that was approved by the Speaker whether the question of one term or two term was included in that statement by the Senator for Nandi? Because this is not a place for jokes, Honorable Speaker. We are not here to play games. Let him confirm to us, and the Speaker, you can check whether that word that he has used is in that approved statement. If he wants to make his own statements, he can go to rallies there in Kapsabet. But here we are here for serious business. You don't waste our time listening to rubbish.
Senator Cherarke, you will only read the statement that was approved. There is no two-term in this statement that was approved. Proceed. Yes, what's the point?
Madam Speaker, did you hear the last term? Maybe it may have skipped you because you were just about. Even when you disagree with a colleague and you think that what they have said is not accurate, you cannot refer to it as rubbish. Senator Sifuna,
Senator
those
Sifuna,
are offensive remarks
that
and
is,
they need to be struck out.
That
Madam
is
Speaker.
unparliamentary language. Please withdraw that bit.
Madam Speaker, it was offensive to me, just like the rubbish that we see out there being offensive to us.
Senator
So if it is
Sifuna is unparliamentary language.
I withdraw, but I say he must only use terms that
I
are
have already
approved.
ruled on that.
Yeah, let him withdraw that two terms.
I have ruled on that.
Because the only word we can use here is one term.
Senator Sifuna, I have guided on that. So, please also, which is the word one term? That also has no context in what we are discussing. So, please withdraw your one term as well. Because you have used your space to also make some statement beyond. Senator Sifuna, I suggest you raise a very important issue.
Madam, once he withdraws the two term, the one term will disappear automatically. Can he withdraw the offensive words first?
Senator Cherarke, please withdraw.
Madam Speaker, you know there is what we call standardisis. Your matter has been ruled and we stopped. You had ruled on that. Madam Speaker, let me continue.
Senator Cherarke, please just withdraw the reference to two terms so that we proceed. Let's have an orderly house, please.
I don't know why Senator Sifuna.
Just withdraw. I am guiding you as chair. I am guiding you as chair, please.
Speaker, how many speakers do you have, Madam Speaker?
There is one speaker and
Yes,
you are not following what that speaker is telling you. Would you kindly do that?
Madam Speaker, I didn't know that senior counsel is a heckler, but I withdraw, Madam Speaker. It brought together government leaders and conservationists and members of the local community in a united effort to safeguard the Kaptagat system. Whether you like it, William Ruto will go for two term.
Senator Kisang, what's your point of order? Senator Cherarke, hold on. Senator Kisang, Senator Cherarke, just hold on. Senator Cherarke, please, Senator Kisang has asked for a point of order and I've granted it. Kindly listen.
Madam Speaker, my point of order is the House is turning into some chaotic house. So can you please bring order to the House? Because people are shouting. This is a very important statement that concerns my county. And we want to conserve and ensure that the forest cover in the country reaches 15 billion.
Senator Kisang, what is your point of order?
Yes.
What is your point of order?
I said, please, let's give Cherarke some ample time to
I'm ruling you out of order. That is not a point of order. Now, Senator Cherarke, before, you are actually interfering with your own statement. Can you withdraw reference to Senator Omogeni as a heckler? Please, let's not. I'm requesting members that we respect the rules of the House. Yeah. No, nobody's on the floor, so I ruled you out of that. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw. During the event, President William Ruto announced plans to fence off The
Senator
Kaptagat forest-
Cherargei, you know what to do. Why do we have to go through this? Please withdraw and apologize.
But as Speaker, as I withdraw and apologize, I never mentioned anybody's name. If you can check answer, but I withdraw and apologize.
You actually refer to him as Ekla. Let's not go
I
there.
said senior counsel, and we have two in the house. It is not
Whoever
one.
the senior counsel, you have to withdraw and apologize to the
Okay,
two.
to all senior counsels in the house, I withdraw and apologize. During the event, during the event, President William Samoei Arap Ruto announced plans to fence off Kaptagat Forest and other forests as part of a wider national strategy to protect all state forests in the country. He emphasized the importance of securing this critical water catchment area and affirmed that the government would mobilize the necessary resources for the task. The president reiterated that while the forest must be protected from illegal activities, local communities should continue to benefit through participatory forest management plans and agreements. As part of the efforts to boost livelihoods, His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, led the planting of over 400 avocado seedlings at the school and distributed 50,000 avocado seedlings and 100,000 coffee seedlings to the local farmers. He also commended Dr. Chris Kiptoo for his outstanding leadership in forest conservation and his national treasury duties. I take this opportunity to commend Dr. Chris Kiptoo for his unwavering dedication to environmental conservation, among other conservationists across the country, particularly his role in restoration of Kaptagat Forest. His commitment to this program has yielded long-term benefits for both the environment and the people of the region. In his own words, there is nothing more critical now that conserving our environment for current and future generations, considering the effects of climate change we are witnessing. Madam Speaker, Dr. Kiptoo adopted the Kaptagat Forest Conservation Initiative many years ago under his leadership. It has grown into a highly respected and internationally recognized program. Since its inception in 2017, the Kaptagat Integration Conservation Program has brought together national and county governments, private sector partners, civil society, and communities to restore this vital ecosystem while improving local livelihoods. Madam Speaker, the Kaptagat initiative continues to serve as a model for balancing environmental protection with economic and social development, a goal that is increasingly becoming central to both national and global conservation strategies. Madam Speaker, many residents of Kaptagat have expressed optimism about the ongoing forest restoration efforts. They have reported improvements in their livelihoods, especially through avocado farming and shift away from traditional cereal cultivation. They have voiced their gratitude to Dr. Chris Kiptoo for championing a program that has brought tangible benefits for their lives. Madam Speaker, beyond this environmental work, Dr. Chris Kiptoo has also championed education and other community-based projects in the North Rift region and the larger country, further underscoring his deep commitment to empowering communities at the grassroots level. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, with your indulgence, I call upon fellow leaders and members of the public to emulate the efforts of Dr. Chris Kiptoo, the Kaptagat community in Elgeyo Marakwet County, and the stakeholders involved in the Kaptagat Integrated Conservation Program. Emulate His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. Let us all take part in the conservation and restoration of our forest and natural environment for the benefit of current and future generation. I thank you, Madam Speaker, not Madam Speaker, sir.
Senate statements pursuant to Standing Order 53.1. Senator Cherargei, you may proceed with your 53 statement.
Madam Speaker, request for statement.
Senator Thangwa, what do you want to clarify? Under what order? Clarify what?
Yeah.
Yes, Senator Thangwa.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I've just listened to Senator Cherargei doing his statement under the Standing Order 52.1. And it has been the norm, Madam Speaker, when we take the statements to the table office, maybe he can sit down to avoid intimidating me. When they are taken to the table office, Madam Speaker, our statements are axed, over edited, and all that, Madam Speaker. But when you listen to what Senator Cherage was reading, it was almost 3 pages, even including some unnecessary things like tutam, tutamutoa inside there, Madam Speaker. So my question is, do we have 2 offices that are dealing with statements so that we understand where to take what if you want the meat in your statement, Madam Speaker? Because that is not how they come in here, Madam Speaker. So that is
Senator,
something that you should order, that we need to look into it. If you can be allowed to bring your statement here without editing, without anybody asking the question, allow everyone.
Senator Thangwa, I direct that you actually put your question in writing to the relevant office so that the issue is discussed. Senator Cherarkei on 53.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I request that you organize refresher courses for some
Senator
of the
Cherarkei,
members.
on to your
Request
statement,
for the
please.
statement on the disappearance of Edward Kipchumba Terer and Mark Lomuke in Sambalat, Elgeyo Marakwet County. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the mysterious disappearance of Edward Kipchumba Terer, who comes from Wasingishu, Mr. Mark Lomuke in Sambalat, Elgeyo Marakwet County. Madam Speaker, on Monday, 2nd June 2025, Mr. Edward Kipchumba Terer, a medical laboratory technologist at Hope Clinic in Sambalat, was reportedly apprehended at his work place by individuals claiming to be police officers and taken away in an armored vehicle. He was arrested alongside 2 others, one being the clinic's owner, who were later released. A week later, Terer's brother-in-law, Mr. Mark Lomuke, was abducted under similar mysterious circumstances. These incidences occurred shortly after the murder of Catholic priest Father Alois Cheruiyot Bed, who hails from Nandi but in the same region, further escalating public anxiety. Despite numerous efforts by the affected families and appeals to level authorities, the whereabouts of 2 gentlemen remain unknown. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should address the following. 1, an account of the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Mr. Terer and Mr. Lomuke, including the identities of the abductors, immediate actions taken by the authorities to address their disappearance, and the current status and progress of investigations. Madam Speaker, number 2, whether the individuals who apprehended Mr. Terer were duly authorized law enforcement officers, the legal basis of the arrest, and whether standard procedures were followed during the arrest. Madam Speaker, finally, the measures being implemented to ensure public safety in the region, that is in the Sanbalat and Kerio Valley region, the support provided to affected families, and how the government is engaging communities to address the growing insecurity and demand for accountability. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding human resource practices, payroll management, and general staff administration within Elgeyo Marakwet County Public Service Board. Honorable Speaker, the 2023 audit report on the operations of Elgeyo Marakwet County Public Service Board done by the County Government Sectorial Committee on Administration, Justice, and Public Service indicates that the County Public Service Board is grappling with administrative challenges that include procedural staff appointments and promotions, irregular payroll practices, and non-compliance with public service employment standards. These issues not only affect staff morale and service delivery, but also contribute to inefficiencies in the county's wage bill and resource allocation. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the rationale behind the frequent and unexplained transition of employees between permanent and contract terms, especially in instances where officers revert to previous positions after serving as county executive committee members, CCs, or chief officers, COs. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the basis upon which certain officers were promoted while bypassing multiple job groups and whether proper recruitment processes, including interviews, were undertaken. Three, the reasons why senior acting appointments, particularly for the position of chief officers, were made without adherence to substantive appointment protocols. Four, an account for the payment of special house allowances totaling 11 million Kenya shillings, 384,400 to 156 officers, and additional special salaries amounting to 3,141,193 and 50 cents to 25 members of staff over a 1 year period, despite clear public service guidelines prohibiting such discretionary payments. Five, Madam Speaker, the data on any county staff, either on permanent contract or casual terms, who have experienced delayed or non-payment of salaries during the 2022-23, 2023-24, and 2024-25 financial years, stating the causes and steps taken to resolve the matter. Finally, Madam Speaker, the reasons why 11 staff members remain on profession beyond the legally permitted duration, and why 7 officers beyond the retirement age of 60 continue to appear on the payroll, contrary to the established public service regulations. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, raise question to Standing Order 531 to seek statement from the Standing Committee of National Security and Defense Relations on matter of nationwide concerns regarding the rising cases of abduction and disappearance of across the country, and specifically the disappearance of Mr. Hussein Abdurrahman Mohammed, who was Huduma Center Manager in Wajir County, and a senior civil servant of the rank Deputy County Commissioner. Madam Speaker, Mr. Hussein disappeared he was last seen on 8th of July 2025. It's very unfortunate that this country, Kenyans are disappearing by the day and by hours without any explanation, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Mr. Hussein is actually a very senior civil servant, and up to date, for the last 2 weeks, he is not known where he has been to, whether he's been abducted, whether he's been killed, we don't know where he is. And therefore, if a senior civil servant like Hussein can disappear, then I think everybody in this country is so unsecure, and we need to take, action has been taken against these kind of businesses. Madam Speaker, every Kenyan has a right to be presented to courts. Every Kenyan has a right. If somebody actually is a criminal, the criminal has also a right to come to court and to be taken to court or to be listened, and his relatives must be informed. Keeping people in community is not actually what is wanted. Honorable Speaker.
Senator Methu, what is the point of order?
Maybe because a clarification, because you gave guidance, I want to know whether what Senator Abbas is reading is part of what was approved by the Speaker, or he is contributing to his statement.
Senator Abbas, you are supposed to just read your statement. Yeah. Senator, just read what is on your statement. That is.
Madam Speaker,
yeah.
What I've written is not what has been given to me. They have over-edited.
Yeah, but
this
for
is actually exactly what my colleague is complaining about. My document is actually over-edited.
Senator,
I cannot explain myself, so I have to explain myself.
No. What I'm saying is that let us follow the rule and then we complain.
Yeah, honestly, when you over-edited, there are only 2 lines here.
Senator, please just follow the Follow the ruling of the chair, please. Just read
Okay.
the statement.
Okay, madam. Okay. Can I have the mic, please? Okay. Madam Speaker, cases of unexplained abductions and enforcement disappearances have become increasingly frequent in this country, with civilians, activists, and even public officers being taken without trace. A recent case is that of Mr. Hussein Abdurrahman, who comes from Wajir, a senior civil servant who was the Deputy County Commissioner, who was last seen on 8th July 2025 during a public function attended by the Cabinet Secretary of Public Service in Wajir County. Since then, no credible information has been provided regarding the whereabouts of Hussein. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the prevalence and pattern of enforced disappearance across the country in the last 5 years, including regions affected, and progress on the investigation. 2, circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Mr. Hussein Abdurrahman Mohammed, including the steps taken to trace him and the support being offered to the family. Thank you, Madam Speaker. But this is overdue, so I don't want to say anything else.
Senator Chimera. Senator, yes, you have a second statement.
Sorry.
Please read that before Senator Chimera.
You have been confused, I think. Okay, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 531 to seek statements from the Standing Committee of Agriculture and Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of county-wide concerns regarding the continued neglect of small-scale farmers in Wajir County by the county government of Wajir. Madam Speaker, Wajir County is actually an arid area that depends on shallow wells and subsurface waters, and everything is being done through irrigation. The economy of Wajir County is largely dependent on agriculture and livestock. However, several small-scale farmers across the county have decried the lack of support from the county government of Wajir in addressing the lack of certified seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, farming tools, and irrigation systems, despite the fact that the county government had allocated a substantial amount of money to the sector through the Department of Agriculture in 2023-24, 24-25 financial years. The farmers have also expressed concerns of the county government failure to provide training and extension services to help enhance productivity. Madam Speaker, in the statement, the committee shall address how the county government of Wajir utilized the funds allocated to the agriculture sector in 2023-24, 24-25 financial years, including details on the specific agriculture support programs targeting small-scale farmers that were undertaken or implemented by the county government in each ward in Wajir County. 2, whether the Department of Agriculture in Wajir County undertook a needs assessment before rolling out the programs and continually monitor and evaluate the programs during this implementation, and if so, obtain the relevant reports of the needs assessment, monitoring, and evaluation exercises. 3, the number and names of beneficiaries of each of the agricultural support programs undertaken or implemented by the county government in the specific financial years in each ward, including the criteria used to identify and selecting the beneficiaries, particularly under the Food Systems Resilience Project, FSRP, the Kenya Agricultural Business Development Program, KABDB, and the Government of Kenya funded initiatives. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a request for a statement on human-wildlife conflicts in Kwale County. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Lands, Environment, and Natural Resources on a matter of county-wide concern regarding increased cases of human-wildlife conflict in Kwale County. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the measures currently being implemented by the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, to address the rising incidents of human-wildlife conflict in Kwale County, particularly in the areas of Chanzo, Maji ya Chumvi, Mwangoloto, Kilimangodo, Kwanyanje, Pehoni, Makina, Shirango ya Juu, Bahakwenu, Mwangani, Busho, Kilibasi, Magale, Nyamaleni, Zoyagenu, Silaloni, and Chengoni villages, areas that have experienced frequent elephant attacks, leading to property destruction, crop loss, injuries, and in some cases, fatalities. Number two, Madam Speaker, the number and nature of elephant attacks recorded in these areas over the past 3 years, including details of the response mechanisms deployed by KWS during such incidents. Number three, information on whether any victims of elephant attacks in these areas have been compensated, and if so, a breakdown of the compensation awarded, the number of claimants, the status of pending claims, and the timelines for addressing unresolved cases. Number four, Madam Speaker, the plans in place to prevent further human-wildlife conflict in the affected regions, including but not limited to the construction of barriers, deployment of rapid response teams and community sensitization programs. And lastly, Madam Speaker, the long-term strategies in place by the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife in collaboration with other relevant agencies to ensure the safety and livelihoods of communities living adjacent to wildlife habitats in Kwale County. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Professor Tom Ojienda. And you may read the four.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I have four statements this afternoon. Yes, Madam Speaker, yes, this is my house. Madam Speaker, the first statement is on the preparedness to support digital era publication. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to standing from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology on a matter of national concern regarding the government's preparedness to facilitate digital era public participation, particularly amongst the youth. Madam Speaker, recent developments in the country have highlighted the increasing use of digital platforms by young people to organize, express civic concerns, and demand accountability. This shift highlights the need to formally recognize online civic spaces for legitimate platforms of public participation. In the statement, the committee should address the following, Madam Speaker. One, whether the government through the Ministry of ICT and State Department for Youth has developed or intends to establish a structured youth-led framework to promote digital public participation and civic engagement. Two, plans in place to modelize public participation frameworks by integrating digital tools such as mobile platforms, online consultation, and social media, and whether this can be supported by policy reforms. Lastly, Madam Speaker, measures put in place to ensure that digital civic participation is inclusive, secure, and can be effectively integrated into national policy and county-level public decision-making processes. My second statement, Madam Speaker, is on the regulation of digital lending platforms and consumer protection. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of national concern regarding the regulation of digital lending platforms in Kenya and the protection of consumers from exploitative practices and data misuse. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, lenders operating in Kenya, including those licensed and unlicensed, and the measures in place for their licensing and oversight. Two, safeguards to protect consumers from excessive interest rates, cyber harassment, and unauthorized access or misuse of personal data. Three, measures taken to enforce the Data Protection Act against digital lenders found to be in breach of data protection and consumer rights. And lastly, interventions to strengthen consumer protection, promote ethical lending practices, and assure compliance by all digital lending platforms. Madam Speaker, my third statement is on the inclusion of the creative economy and innovation in development planning. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on a matter of national concern regarding the inclusion of the creative economy and innovation in Kenya's national and county development plans. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, the government's policy framework for supporting the creative and innovation sector, including funding, training, and market access. Two, whether the current medium-term plan, MTP, and county integrated development plans, CIDPs, provide for programs or budget lines dedicated to the creative economy. Three, strategies in place to support creative entrepreneurs, content creators, and innovation hubs across the country. And lastly, measures to integrate the creative sector into national development priorities, including legal policy and public-private initiatives. Madam Speaker, my last statement is on the implementation status of the Climate Change Act by county governments. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to starting order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources. Matthew used to chair that committee on a matter of national concern regarding the implementation status of the Climate Change Act.
Senator, read what has been cleared.
I withdraw, Madam Speaker. He was removed. It's okay. I will apologize. He is no longer the chair. Madam Speaker, the Implementation of Climate Change Act 2016 as amended in 2023. In the statement, the committee addressed the following, Madam Speaker. The number of counties that have complied with the Climate Change Act by enacting enabling county legislation, establishing the County Climate Change Fund, CCFs, and setting up functional county climate change units, CCUs. Two, the role played by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Forestry, and the National Treasury in facilitating implementation of the Act at county level, including provision of technical support in accessing climate change finances. Lastly, Madam Speaker, the measures put in place to strengthen county level compliance with the Climate Change Act, integrate risk in their development plans, and climate resilience since the Act was enacted. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement on discrepancies and irregularities in the funding of public schools in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Education on a matter of national concerns regarding the funding of Auditor General's Special Audit Report on capitation and infrastructure grants in schools across the country for the financial year 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024, which uncovered discrepancies in the funding of public schools in Kenya and the irregularities of disbursements of capitation funding. Honorable Speaker, the special audit report revealed, among others, a general understanding amounting to Kenya shillings 71 billion for the secondary schools, Kenya shillings 31 billion for junior schools, GSS, Kenya shillings 14 billion for primary schools, and 67 billion for secondary schools, special needs education, and that out of 83 sample schools, 14 received the capitations totaling to Kenya shillings 16 billion, with none evidence of their existence, while six others received capitation, yet they had ceased operation. These revelations raised fundamental questions about transparency and accountability within the Ministry of Education and related agencies, and the integrity of their public finance management practices. In particular, the disbursements of funds to non-existent and non-operational schools at a time when schools are grappling with teachers' shortage, infrastructure deficits, congestions, and delays capitations is a betrayal of user trust of Kenyans people. In the statement, the committee should address the following. The steps in the Ministry of Education is taking to address the underfunding of public schools in general and junior schools and in specific, in light of the significant operations and infrastructure demand at this initial implementation phase on the comprehensive-based curriculum. Two, the mechanisms in place for verifications of the existence of schools before inclusion in the National Examination Management Information System, NEMIS, database, and the circumstances under which the 14 schools identified in the specific audit has having received capitation funds without evidence on their existence were including in the database. Three, the identify of officials in the Ministry of Education and the National Treasury responsible for the irregularities, as well as the steps being taken to hold them accountable and to recover any lost funds. 4, last, whether the Ministry of Education intends to understand a comprehensive verifications exercise to ascertain the accuracy and integrity of the data in the NEMIS database to avert loss of funds, public funds, through further disbursements of capitation funds on non-existent and operational schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Hezana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I have two statements, but I will begin with mine. And this is a request for a statement on influx of wholesale traders from other counties into Samburu. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the influx of wholesale traders from other counties into Samburu County. Madam Speaker, local business owners in Maralal, Baragoi, Achas Post, Wamba, and Suguta Marmar, urban centers in Samburu County, have raised alarm over the influx of traders from outside the county who transport goods in lorries and engage in wholesale trade directly with consumers. These trading activities have disrupted the local market dynamics and threatened the survival of local small and medium-sized enterprises in Samburu County. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the regulatory framework put in place by the county government of Samburu to govern entry into an operation within Samburu County by traders from other counties, including whether the traders are subjected to the same licensing fee and levies paid by the local traders. Secondly, the enforcement mechanism in place to ensure that the traders from other counties comply with Samburu County trade and market laws. Thirdly, the specific steps the county government is taking to protect local and small and medium-sized enterprises in Samburu County from unfair competition. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have a second statement by the Honorable Senator Catherine Muyeka Muma, who is you. And this is a request for a statement. And this is a request for a statement on the rise of this is a request for a statement on the rise of uncheckered inflammatory utterances by influential public figures and political leaders. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on a matter of national concern regarding the rising trend of uncheckered inflammatory utterances by leaders, particularly along ethnic lines. These utterances are contrary to Article 33(2) of the Constitution and the National Cohesion and Integration Act of 2008. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the measures being taken by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, to monitor, regulate, and deter the use of media platforms, both traditional and digital, in communicating messages that spread propaganda of war or conflicts, those which incite violence, those which amount to hate speech, or which advocate hatred that constitute ethnic incitement, vilification of others, or incitement to cause harm, or hatred that is based on any ground of discrimination specified in Article 23(4) of the Constitution. Secondly, whether NCIC has recommended any policy changes that would facilitate the regulation of internet governance, frameworks in Kenya to facilitate effective protection against the use
Tunaingia
of social
vijijini,
media
mijini na hata
spread
jijini
propaganda of
kukuletea
war or
taarifa mchana
incite
kutwa,
violence, to spread
usiku
hate speech or
tunaketi
advocate hatred
kitako,
that
tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
whether there is collaboration between
tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa, usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia
Tonight, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place so fast, therefore everybody must work hard to stay on the cutting edge as far as making sense of our politics is concerned, and of course remaining on top of all matters. Tonight, this is Sound Candy Talk Live. 72 people have cast their vote already, and only 42 have liked the video. Justified. So from the look of things, the majority of Kenyans think the government need to up their. Glad to report we are back on the main channel as well, and therefore we are asking everybody to join from wherever you are. Sound Candy Talk Live YouTube channel, and we are also live on X as well as extended to Facebook.
On a matter of regarding the requirement by the Social Health Authority that patients contribute for a full year before accessing medical care. Madam Speaker, Section 17(1) of the Social Health Insurance General Regulations 2024 provide that households whose income is not derived from salaried employment shall contribute annually to the Social Health Insurance Fund at a rate of 2.75% of the household income, as determined through the prescribed means testing instruments under Regulation 21. This regulation is causing widespread concern as many Kenyans, despite making contributions, are being denied access to healthcare services because they have not completed a full year of payments. This situation undermines the fundamental rights enshrined in Article 43(1)(a) and Article 43(2) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which guarantees every person the right to the highest attainable standard of health, including the right to health care services. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the rationale behind denying medical services to patients who have not completed a full year of contributions, even in instances where the patient's contributions are up to date at the time of seeking treatment. 2, the government's position on this directive and the measures in place to address this matter. 3, whether personal data from the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, including contributor identity and contribution history, was successfully migrated to the SHA system. 4, whether the contributions made by N. Mkala Samba, ID number 67008002, and NHF number 053235 on 21st February 2024, VIDA check number 591049118, and receipted number BK 583085, intended to cover her up to April 2027, are valid and usable under the SHA platform, and if not, provide a remedy to her and all other similar cases across the country. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I don't see Senator Murango, so his statement will be deferred. Uh, Honorable Senators, I'll allow 15 minutes of comments on the statements. And I think, can we agree on 5 minutes for per speaker? Okay, 3 minutes per speaker. 3 minutes per speaker. Okay, Senator Sifuna.
Madam Speaker, allow me some latitude through Senator Kenyuri to pass my condolences to the family of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato. As you know, Honorable Speaker, there is another great woman leader, Phoebe Asio, that we are also mourning through her son Caesar and the entire Asio family. I just want to say pole to the families and to tell them that they are in our prayers. Honorable Speaker, at the weekend I had opportunity to meet some young women from the University of Nairobi under the auspices of the ODM Women League led by the President, Madam Beth Siengo, who is a member of this House. And I can tell you that even though Caesar, Phoebe Asio and Catherine Nyamato have left us, there is a great, bright future for women leadership in this country. I met some very young, brilliant women like Rosalind Alionya, Rachel Kavita, Mary Letitia, and Kimberly Grace. And I am sure you followed those proceedings when they were speaking to the press. Although the press was a bit unkind and was trying to harass them, I have no doubt that the leadership of women leadership has a very bright future. Honorable Speaker, allow me to comment on the statement on disappearances and then on checking of inflammatory utterances. Honorable Speaker, the reason we insist that we need to build a country that works for all of us is that no one is safe until everybody is safe. You have heard from Nandi, you have heard from Marsabit, the senator for there, also saying that senior civil servants are also being disappeared. And this is why we must resolve this question for all of us. Honorable Speaker, lastly, in 2007, I was one of those young people who were saying one term to Kibaki because we wanted him to go home. And we voted to take Kibaki home, Honorable Speaker. We were very shocked when we were told that our vote does not matter, that someone sitting somewhere can actually alter the results at the ballot. Honorable Speaker, there is very irresponsible talk from leaders telling us that in 2027, if the votes for William Ruto will not be sufficient, they will steal for him. And the NCIC has just kept quiet. With that history of 2007, Honorable Speaker, the precursor of the violence was in the interference with the will of the people. And I want to join those who are saying, Honorable Speaker, because we've been told to wait for a democratic opportunity to remove the current government. If we exercise that democratic right and then you go and mess it up the way they're threatening to do, this country will be on fire like it was in 2007. And we don't fear saying it. So, Honorable Speaker, if the NCIC, the IEBC that has just recently been sworn in, cannot even summon these leaders, because as I understand the law on election offenses, you cannot be saying that.
Senator Cheruyot.
Mr. Speaker, two quick comments. Number one is on this issue.
Madam Speaker, not Mr.
Apologies, Madam Speaker. I stand corrected. My apologies. Number one is on the statement by Senator Jones Moruma with regards to SHA. Madam Speaker, there's something untidy about how this provision for payment, either monthly or yearly, is being communicated, particularly to the elderly people and those that live in the villages, Mr. Speaker. Over the weekend at a function, I was actually challenged by people who could not distinguish between what's the difference between monthly and yearly payment. Mr. Speaker, there is an assumption that everybody understands English and Kiswahili. That is not true. We live in a country, especially particularly those of us that represent rural counties, Madam Speaker, where we have the elderly who did not have the benefit of going to school, Madam Speaker. They too deserve access to that information. And therefore, I join myself in the comments by Senator Maruma that there needs to be clarity in that particular space. While me and you, who are salaried employees, Madam Speaker, will not face a challenge because this is deducted alongside our salaries, it's causing a lot of challenge to the ordinary citizens who have to pay either on a monthly, Madam Speaker, or yearly, and what provisions have been made. I know, for example, Madam Speaker, that SHA has actually provided even the opportunity that you can borrow funds, Madam Speaker, through Hustler Fund and end up paying for your monthly your yearly contribution, so to speak. But that is not information that is available, Madam Speaker, to the people that I represent. And therefore, on that account, Mr. Speaker, I expect that the CEO will provide this information for citizens to be able to understand. Lastly, Madam Speaker, in the tabulation of how much each county government received in on-source revenue, I have seen governors from across the country include share contributions or compensation, rather, Madam Speaker, in the declaration. It will make more sense, Madam Speaker, if SHA gave us the information actually to know how much has it been compensated back to each county, so that we can tell our governors that when we passed this law, we included something called a facility improvement fund. That money cannot be used for anything else other than to develop the hospitals for which that fund has been collected, Madam Speaker. And therefore, it will be important that when that statement is responded to, we get a breakdown of the compensation that has gone to each of the 47 counties in the last 7 months that SHA has been operational. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to contribute on the statement brought by Taita Taveta Senator Mwaruma, on the contributions of SHA, having a requirement that the beneficiaries must contribute at least yearly to enable you access the services. Madam Speaker, SHA is a very bold step by President William Ruto, and a very necessary one in our country towards universal health care. However, Madam Speaker, this provision that the beneficiaries need to contribute at least the annual deductions so that you can be able to access the service is somewhat discriminatory, because what happens to Mama Mboga who falls ill a month into contribution? What happens to the boda boda if he gets an accident after contributing for 2 to 3 months? We are exposing the same people that we seek to protect in this universal health care provision, and exposing them to the worst case scenario, even death, Madam Speaker. I think we need to relook the implementation. We need to have a 3-tier or maybe some tier in the sense that you can contribute after 3 months, you can access, after 6 months, you can access, so that we don't beat the purpose. The purpose is very noble, to ensure that our citizens at the bottom of the pyramid get to access healthcare equally for all Kenyans, regardless of your background or of financial strength. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge the Committee for Health to interrogate this system and bring clarity to ensure that we do not beat the purpose of the whole system. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I had walked out very briefly. I wanted to comment on the statement by Senator Ojenda on the matter of data misuse for digital lending firms. I think, Madam Speaker, that's a very important statement, because we are all exposed to this danger on our phone, where some people in the process of borrowing digital loans, they use other people as references. And therefore, within a very short time, you see pop-up messages coming on your phone, maybe marketing messages or all kinds of messages which are targeting people. So I think it is an important thing that the Committee for ICT needs to look at, and also the institution responsible for matters of data protection can also look at that to safeguard the interest of Kenyans. And overall, Madam Speaker, I thought we also need to have proper regulations regulating these digital lending firms. They have really increased in number, and some of them are operating outside the banking regulation, outside the CBK regulation on matters of lending. So I think we need a proper framework, and that can also be handled by the Committee for Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, I've also seen a statement by Senator Seki on the issue of funding of schools. Madam Speaker, it is so sad that many of our schools, especially secondary schools, are on the deathbed because of capitation challenges. Either the capitation money comes late, or that capitation money is not adequate to run the schools. I think something has to be done around the issue of funding of our schools. I was in one of the schools in my county where they cannot even afford lunch for students. The teachers are contributing so that they can cook lunch for the students. Mr. Speaker, when we get...
Senator Metu. Senator, 1 minute, and then we can move to Metu.
Madam Speaker, is a serious problem, and that problem is particularly common in day secondary schools in the villages, where parents cannot afford to pay exorbitant fees, and therefore they depend quite a lot on capitation from the government. So something has to be done around the issue of funding of schools. Madam Speaker, I support the two statements. Thank you very much.
Senator Metu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I'm not Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, I don't know why we are all confusing. But Madam Speaker, maybe because of the strength of your voice. Now, Madam Speaker, there are many statements that have been sought, and I want to comment on two of them. One that has been sought by Senator Mwaruma. And let me say this, Mr. Speaker. For those of us who oppose the current government, and those of us who are in the formation that I am in, we are said and we are seen to always oppose for the sake of it. But we all would want SHA to work, because we passed these laws. I was in Turkana. We passed these laws that put the SHA or the Social Health Authority into motion, Madam Speaker. And we must admit that when it is not working, something has to be done. It is not just about running in villages, in empowerments and saying SHA is working, SHA is not working. These are specific cases that have been raised in this specific statement. And I think the reason why this issue of SHA does not make sense to most of the members of parliament, and that's why they keep defending it, even when there are very glaring gaps in this SHA, Madam Speaker, is for the mere reason that most of us are, or rather, all of us are salaried. So our deductions are made just directly from our pay slips. And more importantly, we also have a very good medical cover, because members of parliament have a very good medical cover. They don't care what the other Kenyans are feeling and how they are suffering, Honorable Speaker, because it does not make sense that you have paid for SHA faithfully for 2, 4, 7 months, but if you have not paid for it annually, you cannot get this service, Madam Speaker. So now tell me, if you have to pay for 8 months and you are not able to get services on the 8th month, what happens about the other months that you have paid, Madam Speaker? So we shall continue speaking until this Social Health Authority works the way it is supposed to work. Maybe finally, and I would want your guidance, Madam Speaker, on how you process statements as it was sought by Senator Dangwa. I am a bit uncomfortable with the statement that has been sought by Senator Hezenare Maritian. Madam Speaker, in this statement, the good senator is asking for protection of traders because traders have come to their county in Samburu. Madam Speaker, I do not think there's a law that would prohibit anybody from doing business anywhere. Because what has been sought in this statement, Madam Speaker, is that there is a large influx of traders from outside the county who are doing transport of goods and...
Senator Methu, in 30 seconds, finish, please.
In fact, Madam Speaker, you should give me 1 minute because it is you who processed this particular statement, and this is a very defective statement. And Madam Speaker,
proceed. You're
we
using
must
your
speak about inclusivity. We cannot speak about inclusivity when we want to exclude some people from doing some business from some place. If you are to argue the same way, Senator from Nairobi will say that business people are doing business in Nairobi. Then it will be very difficult for me to set up a business in Kericho. It will be very difficult for a Kenyan to go and do business in Vihiga. We must allow free movement of goods and services. We must allow free trading between communities across board, Honorable Speaker. And I also find it very ridiculous that in one of the asks of the statement is the enforcement.
What's your point of order, Senator Cheruyot?
Madam Speaker, apologies to interrupt my neighbor, but I just wanted to request him to cut that part of the clip of what he has spoken in his lucid moment here in the House, where he speaks about inclusivity, and send it, Madam Speaker, to his party leader currently in the US, who has told us that only one community does business.
Senator Cheruyot, you are out of order. Senator Cheruyot, that is, Senator Methu, ignore that and finish with your 15 seconds.
You know, my former cousin, Madam Speaker, is a bit uncomfortable with with the new friends that I've got in the likes of Senator Sifuna, the new cousin now. But I just wanted to say, Madam Speaker, we cannot, the ask that has been asked on the enforcement mechanism to ensure that traders from other counties comply with the county trade and market rules. Madam Speaker, the enforcement is by the county because the laws are by the county. What else is the committee or the Senate expected to do in terms of enforcement? If these people have paid the levies that are required, if they have paid the fees that are required to go and do business in Samburu, nobody can stop and nobody should stop. When we speak about integration.
Senator Omtata.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to continue from where Senator Methu has left off. That's a constitutional right for any Kenyan to live and reside and trade anywhere in this country, so we cannot curtail that freedom. But I could proceed to comment on the statement by Senator Mwaruma on the chief. Madam Speaker, it is really disheartening that we have reduced the health of people into a mechanism of extracting money from the poorest of the poor. Chief is an extraction mechanism for stealing from the poor, because if we really wanted universal health care, we would begin by fixing public hospitals. You have not done that. Instead, you are forcing people who otherwise would have enjoyed cover to pay annually when they don't have capacity. People should be allowed to pay according to their capacity. They would have to enjoy a cover that is given by the state. But all said and done, Madam Speaker, the chief arrangement is an extortion mechanism, and that's why they are prioritizing to get as much money as they can from the Kenyan citizen. And that needs to be stopped, so that if the issue is to give people health care, let us fix the health system, let us get hospitals working, let us get the doctors in public hospitals, and let us run universal health care on public hospitals. Running universal health care on private hospitals is opening an avenue for looting from state coffers. So, Madam Speaker, I support this motion, and I pray that when the committee looks at it, it does a holistic job of looking at the entire architecture of universal health care, including answering the question whether you can credibly run universal health care on private hospitals. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Omutata. Senator Okenyuri Esther.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to comment on the statement by Senator Catherine Muma on unchecked inflammatory utterances by influential public figures. Madam Speaker, we cannot legislate on morality because I think such kind of utterances has to do with behavior, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, the Kenyan populace cheers such kind of utterances. So what can we actually do in regard to the statement by Senator Muma? This is actually calling to the attention of all of us to actually check on the culture we have, Madam Speaker, because when you actually even observe political podiums, the nastiest, the most nasty statement is what people cheer. And what our young people learning, they're just picking up from what they see their leaders do. So I think before Senator Muma wants the committee to look into this, as leaders, we need to call ourselves into and just look at what examples we are showing to the young people, to the youth of this country, to the women, and any other person who's expecting direction from we as leaders. We have actually disappointed them, Madam Speaker. So in as much as Senator Muma is concerned with this behavior, it is a challenge on we as leaders to look at how we change the culture and improve behavior. Madam Speaker, I also wish to comment on the statement by Senator Hezena on influx of traders to Samburu. I hope she was trying to address about trade imbalance. That being a concern, the best way to look at it is to look at what is actually most pressing, not restricting movement of those traders, Madam Speaker, because as a sponsor of the street vendors bill, that is not one way of protecting small-scale traders and also protecting the hassles people engage in. So there's a better way of addressing the trade imbalance so that both counties in Samburu and those not in Samburu can benefit from this exchange that is happening. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Esi. Senator Osotsi Godfrey Atieno. Next order.
Order number 16, motion, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the Startup Bill, Senate Bills number 14 of 2022.
Person standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism to move the motion. That's you are holding fort.
Yeah. The Vice
Senator
Chairperson.
Esi, proceed as the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm holding forth for the Chair. I'm the Vice Chairperson of that committee. And Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the National Assembly amendments to the Startup Bill, that is Senate Bills number 14 of 2022, be now considered. Briefly, Madam Speaker, the Startup Bill actually seeks to provide a framework to encourage growth, sustainable technological development, new entrepreneurship employment, and creating a more favorable environment for innovation and attract Kenyan talents and capital. I also wish to thank my sister, Senator Christo Asige, for this bill. And after the bill was passed by the Senate, that is on the 21st of February 2024, the bill was transmitted to our sister house as required by the Constitution. The Committee on Trade that I sit in the National Assembly considered this bill and came up with 51 amendments to the bill. Our committee reviewed the amendments made by the National Assembly and agreed with the 25 amendments, but rejected 26 amendments. Madam Speaker, the amendments by the National Assembly that the committee adopted enriched this bill further and the committee saw no need in dropping them. Madam Speaker, allow me to also comment on the amendments that the committee rejected. The committee noted that the National Assembly had actually sidelined county governments in this bill. They had removed counties from participating in any role. An example is deleting the definitions of CEC or county executive member. The committee rejected deletion of this because deleting the role of the CEC as it is would make implementation at the county level impossible. So under clause 4 of this bill, the National Assembly deleted the role of the agency and the county governments and replaced it with the role of agency and the estate in implementation of the Act number 4. So our committee rejected this proposal and reinstated the functions of the county government. Having deleted clause 4, which related to the functions of the county governments, the National Assembly deleted clause 5, whose reference is incubation programs and the role of national and county governments play. So our committee also rejected this proposal and resolved that provision in respect of the role of county governments be reinstated and the incubation programs should be provided for under this bill. The committee further observed that since startups operate within both the national and county government economies, a coordinated approach is necessary to balance national policies with local. Okay. So, Madam Speaker, the National Assembly also wanted to delete the registrar of startups, whose responsibility was to register startups and replace with a startup committee. The committee resolved to restore the registrar of startups because the committee proposed by the National Assembly had reduced the function in comparison to the registrar of startups. Madam Speaker, I therefore ask members to read this report and adopt as presented by the Committee of Trade, Industrialization and Tourism. Madam Speaker, I move and request the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Aaron Cheriot, to second. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hesio Kenyuri, Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second this motion by the Vice Chairperson of the Trade Committee. The startup bill is a very important bill. This bill has gone full cycle now because we attempted to conclude on it last time, but unfortunately, our colleagues in the sister house, Madam Speaker, did not agree with many of the provisions that we had put in at that particular time. I am at least at this point impressed, Madam Speaker, that they have considered it, albeit with amendments that many of us will find very difficult to agree to. And therefore, it is on that basis, Madam Speaker, that we are moving this motion to reject or to consider, the parliamentary language is consider, but in true sense, what we are doing is that we are rejecting the amendments, quite a number of the amendments from the National Assembly, because our perspective and our view to issues as a House, Madam Speaker, diametrically differs with how our colleagues from the sister house look at things. And that's the beauty of our democracy. That's the beauty of a bicameral parliament, Madam Speaker. We serve to protect the interest of county governments, Madam Speaker. And anytime somebody does any amendment to any law that is to the disadvantage of county governments, we find it very difficult. I personally, Madam Speaker, will never support such a bill because I know for a fact that having looked at the history of this country, Madam Speaker, despite my relatively young age, I know that looking at the 60 years that Kenya has been under self-governance, Madam Speaker, devolution still occupies the pridal place as the best innovation ever by the people of Kenya to themselves. And at every turn, Madam Speaker, we should always seek to entrench it and ensure that when we pass laws in this House, Madam Speaker, we're actually fostering devolution. The rest of the challenges we'll deal with later. The thieving that we have in our county governments and all these things, I have said times without number that they are not unique. They are a Kenyan problem. that exist both at the national and county government. So it should never be a basis, Madam Speaker, upon which you deny functions to county government. If it is about inefficiency, Madam Speaker, the same level of inefficiency that I see in the national government is what I see in county governments, Madam Speaker. Therefore, that can also not be a basis upon which somebody argues and says, oh, there'll be efficiency in a particular office. In fact, to the contrary, Madam Speaker, I am a firm believer, Madam Speaker, that if you want to actually exercise, Madam Speaker, efficiency in service delivery, let us devolve more functions of the national government, Madam Speaker. What is the problem, Madam Speaker, if people are allowed to register businesses back in their counties and keep a single registry? What is unique about a business registration, Madam Speaker, that it has to be centralized, Madam Speaker? There is no problem. I know there can be ways through which you have a similar system that checks and ensures that you don't have same registration details to one particular business within the jurisdiction of the country, Madam Speaker. But if you check through the process through which people go to, and you're told, oh, you have to wait, I don't know, the papers have gone to Nairobi for this or the other. Madam Speaker, there is need to further decentralize. If you go to a Huduma Center in Kagio, next to your home, Madam Speaker, and you want to register a startup as a person from the village where you come from, they will tell you, yes, you can begin that particular exercise. But it will take a lot of time, Madam Speaker, because that system is still centralized. It has to be sent here to Nairobi to be counter-checked. Then it goes back, Madam Speaker. That is no way of ensuring that there is efficiency. On this particular issue, for example, of registration of businesses, Madam Speaker, and the desire to have a registrar purely for startup businesses, Madam Speaker, I would want, though, to be convinced by the committee why they want us to go the way they are proposing. Though I do not agree also with what the National Assembly had proposed, that the current business registrar is sufficient. There was good thinking, Madam Speaker, in the logic as to coming up with a startup bill. We understand that there is a process of registering a business, but a startup, Madam Speaker, faces unique challenges. And what is being envisioned in this particular bill is to make it easy for those that run startups, Madam Speaker, to actually operate with very little or minimum government interference. I wish our colleagues in the National Assembly, and this is why I disagree with them on many occasions, had actually restricted themselves or at least said something about the issue of taxation challenges that startups face in this country, Madam Speaker. Because every time we introduce an amendment that appears even at the minutest of detail close to anything to do with taxation, that house goes up in flame and they reject it. Then it is our genuine expectation that because they have self-governed on that particular topic and say they're the only ones who have the ability to consider it, that they would have at least have said something about either tax rebates, Madam Speaker, or having a special unit within KRA to specifically handle the issues, Madam Speaker, of startups, Madam Speaker, because you'll find that the same legal requirements that are faced by businesses that have been existent for 50, 60 years, Madam Speaker, some of them extremely stringent, and you will require somebody who runs a complete enterprise, complete with an accountant, Madam Speaker, for them to meet the tax requirements. And you know how we change our taxation policy in this country almost on a yearly basis. It was my genuine expectation, Madam Speaker, that for somebody who runs a startup, where they are the CEO, they are the HR manager, they are the accountant, Madam Speaker, we will make the taxation regime very friendly to them, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, that hasn't been spoken into. If the House agrees with what the Trade Committee is telling us, that we actually consider these amendments and reject some of them, that will trigger a mediation. It is my hope that the people that will put into that mediation committee to represent us in this House, at least because at the mediation level, Madam Speaker, they can introduce something, say something about a tax proposition to startups, Madam Speaker, providing a unique environment for them so that you don't have to consider them alongside more established businesses, to make it possible for them to transact, to trade, to deal, Madam Speaker, and grow their enterprises devoid of all these other challenges. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Thank you. Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the National Assembly amendments to the Startup Bill, Senate Bills number 14 of 2022, be now considered. Senator Osotsi. His name needs to be removed from the dashboard. Senator Crystal Kegehi Asige, this was your bill. You can contribute to it.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I would like to, first of all, give my hearty gratitude to the Trade Committee, which has considered the amendments to the Startup Bill, which have come from the National Assembly. I want to really commend the work that they've done. It's, from what I have read from the amendments of National Assembly, there were quite a few amendments that they have proposed to the bill. And through the chair of Trade Committee, Senator for Kwale County, and the vice chair who has just moved this motion, Chair, I want to thank them sincerely. Sorry, Speaker, I want to thank them sincerely. Speaker, you will know that I'm the sponsor of the bill. I had tabled it, as Vice Chair has said, back in 2023, and it's taken quite a long journey to come to this point. And I have also looked at the report that has been made by the Trade Committee in the Senate to the amendments, and I want to agree with and support wholly with the suggestions that they have made to the startup bill. Speaker, it would really hurt this House if we carried on and supported the amendments in full that the Assembly have made and suggested to us, because then that would mean in the end, our functions as a Senate would be moot. And that, of course, would remove any kind of responsibility or function or mandate to the Senate if we were to agree in full with these amendments that have been made and proposed. Speaker, rejecting or removing the function of the CEC at the county level would really tear down the spirit in which I wrote and drafted and pushed for this particular bill. So that, for me, I agree with. And also removing the function of the registrar, whereby startups are able to go get themselves registered so that they can get the support that many of the amendments or many of the clauses that I have put in the bill, they would have enjoyed. Then again, it becomes a really big issue for us as a Senate, as a House, to see ourselves represented and to see ourselves as having a say or a task, any kind of task within this bill, Speaker. So, of course, there are some in the report from the Trade Committee that have approved some of the amendments that National Assembly put forth, which I also want to agree with. I want to trust that the Senate Committee on Trade and Industrialization have gone through every single clause and really deliberated and articulated the issues for or against each one. And I have no problem with the ones they have said should carry on as amended by the National Assembly. However, as the Majority Leader has rightfully said, for the ones that we do want to reject from the National Assembly, that will trigger a mediation process. Speaker, we want to be able to have this mediation process move as smoothly as possible. So if at this point already, I can plead with my Senate colleagues to start talking to our members of Parliament and our colleagues in the other House and explain to them that if we go by every single one of their amendments, then we will have no place in this bill. I, as the sponsor of the bill, will have no place in the bill. And of course, at the end of the day, the people who are the stakeholders, the young people, our business owners, our innovators, our entrepreneurs, our science and research fellows across the country, they'll be the ones to suffer, Speaker, because this is what this bill speaks to.
It speaks to trying to solve the problem of unemployment, because as young people, we are trying to say that if we're not going to get employed, then we might as well create employment and become the employer. And that's the spirit of this startup bill, Speaker. And if we continue down the route that has been suggested by the National Assembly, then I'm afraid that this will not have a positive consequence on the people that it's supposed to serve, which is young people and entrepreneurs across the country. So, Speaker, in short, I would like to support the report by our Trade Committee and encourage and plead and beseech the rest of the House to vote no to the National Assembly amendments, because, as has been said, we are not in full agreement at this very moment. It will trigger a mediation process, and in that process, we can all sit down, members from each side of the House, from each House, pardon me, and we can sit down and hash out what is critical that needs to remain, to have both houses a mandate not to be removed from the bill, and also what can be done away with at this point, Speaker. At the end of the day, we need to remember that we're not here to serve ourselves or a piece of paper, but all we are doing is to serve young people and entrepreneurs across the country so that they can look for gainful and meaningful employment, as well as contribute to the innovation and to our economy as young people and as individuals with their fantastic ideas. We need to create an environment that is conducive to them. We need to be able to support in capacity building through the different hubs that are being suggested through the bill that I put forward, to have funding, support them at their startup level with all kinds of training and seed funding to their ideas and innovations, Speaker, and all of that is within this bill. So the sooner we get to the mediation process, the sooner we agree on both sides from both sides of Parliament, and the sooner we come back and vote on this bill to be passed, then the sooner we are going to support our young people across the country. And I, for one, feel that that should be our bottom line. And that is my bottom line: to listen, to oversight, and to articulate so that we can legislate fully and effectively for the people that we're here to serve. I support and I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Christo. There are no other senators willing to contribute, so I'll call upon the mover to reply.
Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 66-3 to request that we defer putting of the question to a later date. Thank you.
The putting of the question is deferred to a later date. Next order. I will now take this opportunity to reorganize the order paper. Next.
Order number 25, the Technopolis Bill, National Assembly Bills number 6 of 2024, second reading.
Majority Leader.
Thank you,
proceed.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Technopolis Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2024, be now read a second time. Madam Speaker, this bill, the Technopolis Bill, was published in the Kenya Gazette Supplement number 30 of 2024, dated on the 2nd of February 2024, and passed by the National Assembly actually in the month of December last year, after which it was referred to this House in the month of February. And our committee has done some fairly good job on it, listened to stakeholders. Madam Speaker, our aspirations as a country to be the regional and perhaps even challenge global leaders in the technology space, Madam Speaker, is not a secret. Over the years, there are many things that even world-renowned tech giants have visited this country actually to learn a thing or two about the things that we do as a country. And in the use of technology, Madam Speaker, despite the fact that we have many other challenges, Madam Speaker, has helped many people create businesses. There are many young people today, Madam Speaker, who, in the absence of the technological innovative space that exists in this country will actually be jobless. And Madam Speaker, therefore, as policy makers, as legislators, we must always strive to find ways in which we continue to work hard and make ourselves respectable global leaders, at least on the African continent. Madam Speaker, I know for a fact that very few nations will hold a candle to us in this particular space, where it's regard to IT startups, Madam Speaker, or even at the very basic level, Madam Speaker, availability of internet services, Madam Speaker, through the broadband superhighway across the country. You understand, Madam Speaker, because you were Secretary General of UDA at that particular time, that part of our 5 key agendas is actually the digital superhighway, Madam Speaker, to lay over 100,000 kilometers of cable across the country so that people can easily access internet. Because you understand that there are many young people who actually draw or learn, Madam Speaker, or run their businesses, Madam Speaker, through the internet space. And it is important, Madam Speaker, to ensure that this is provided for, and we do things that encourage this innovation. I am only disappointed, Madam Speaker, in the fact that as we speak today, this bill will actually be responding to only one of the digital hubs at that very high level that has been set up in the country, which is the Konza Technopolis, Madam Speaker. It would have been hope and appreciation if similar campuses will be replicated. I've had opportunity when I served in the ICT committee in my first term in this Senate, Madam Speaker, to actually visit 2 what you would refer to as a proper digital hub. One is a Panasonic Center in Tokyo, Japan, and 2, Madam Speaker, I forget the exact name, Madam Speaker, of a particular city in China, but it was within that particular space that I began to appreciate what exactly such developments as a Konza Development Center, Madam Speaker, IT Development Center, Madam Speaker, will do and contribute in terms of business opportunity to this country. And we must always strive and find ways through which we strengthen and provide them with a legal framework, Madam Speaker, so that they are able to invest, Madam Speaker, and attract actually investment. People can come and set up their businesses here. You understand, Madam Speaker, that last year, when the president visited the United States of America, there are quite a number of IT firms that expressed desire and interest to come and study and understand this Kenyan technology space and why it continues to be a trailblazer on the continent, Madam Speaker. But there are many things that held them back from investing. Of course, Madam Speaker, the space to work on, the very harboring, actually, cost of power, Madam Speaker. It's something that provided a significant challenge to many of them, because if you work and look into this technological space, Madam Speaker, you provide the conducive environment for these companies to come and set up their businesses. Remember, this is a space that is extremely competitive. If you expect them to buy even something as simple as power at the same cost, Madam Speaker, with another industry that manufactures cement and the rest, they will not compete and they will never find as attractive. That's why you're creating this authority, so that, Madam Speaker, at that Konza Technopolis, it's one of the Vision 2030 projects that as a country, if we are able actually to set it the level that it was envisioned in the year 2005, Madam Speaker, when it was first launched, Madam Speaker, then we can say actually that we have ticked part of the items that we signed up for in the year 2005 as a country. You know, the unfortunate thing about us, Madam Speaker, is that there is an obsession almost by every administration to try and recreate a new program and put in the energy of the things that they feel this is what will be known more about. But I must appreciate, Madam Speaker, that at least there are things that we are continuing to try and improve and make better that go date as far back as 2 administrations before this. And I must appreciate that about the administration of the day, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, if you had taken the path of saying that we ignore what others did because we not get the political clout about it, Madam Speaker, and the things that are being said. You know, a leader, Madam Speaker, must do the right thing either way. Whether you're praised or not praised, right remains to be the right thing. You know, last week I saw comments when there was a video that was done about Nairobi River and what the restoration program that is being done. There were comments. If you read the comments down the line, people are saying, oh, this was initiated by the previous administration and so on and forth. It doesn't matter. Just do the right thing at the end of the day. And I believe that needs to be the guiding spirit on many of projects that have been initiated, were well-meaning, and if they had been properly funded, Madam Speaker, will have caused significant change in our country. I believe that is a guiding ideology in trying to fulfill actually the dream that the NAC administration had when they set up the Konza Digital Center, Madam Speaker. I have visited that place, and Madam Speaker, if you visit that place today, you will understand and appreciate that there is big potential and the opportunity to employ thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of young people if we achieve, Madam Speaker, and provide them with the necessary support that is needed. That's why this bill is extremely important. And I have sat down, Madam Speaker, for all those hours waiting for an opportunity that we consider this bill, add our thoughts, Madam Speaker. I've seen that our colleagues in the ICT committee have proposed a raft of amendments. I've just scanned through their report, which is available on our, what is it called, the IT system, Madam Speaker. And there are many things that they are proposing to amend. And I agree with actually almost all of them. There may be one or two that I'll need further convincing or to understand the perspective from which, Madam Speaker, the members of ICT are speaking to us about. But the objective of this bill will actually provide us with a comprehensive framework to establishment of a technopolis in Kenya and create this authority known as the Technopolis Development Authority, which is responsible for the development, governance, planning, management, improvement, and maintenance of every technopolis that is available. That's the point I was speaking to Senator Osotsi, that as we speak today, it's only Konza that you can refer to. But it will be my wish that this is set up in the different parts of the country. Madam Speaker, you know, for example, that in Bomet, where Senator Sigei comes from, that there are young people there who I am yet to understand their operation procedures, Madam Speaker. They don't go to any university. You will never find them trained. They barely even speak English, Madam Speaker. But the things they can do when they are placed in front of a computer, Madam Speaker, I still feel that actually we are not treating them correctly, because many of them, after they have hacked into Safaricom servers, bank systems, we only arrest them and take them to jail. I believe, Madam Speaker, that much as what they are doing is wrong, you need to harness more than just, apart from punishing them, Madam Speaker, you need to understand them better also and establish this knowledge that they have. Is it something that we can tap into as a country, Madam Speaker? Because if somebody has not gone to school, Madam Speaker, but they're able to crack the hardest of bank security systems and withdraw money from your phone or from your bank systems, Madam Speaker, while you're seated here, Madam Speaker, that person deserves more than prison. You can have them in prison, Madam Speaker, but also have them teach or earn while they're still there and sustain their families, Madam Speaker. I don't want to lose track, but it's just to make the point, Madam Speaker, that apart from Konza, we will need so many other technopolis stations across the country. This was a strategic intent of our country, and we need to transition actually into this space, and it has taken us quite a while. I hope that with the passage of this bill and after granting the Konza Technopolis, Madam Speaker, this legal framework, they will be able actually to thrive and attract investment from as many will be investors, Madam Speaker, not necessarily startups, Crystal, but even established global IT companies that will wish to set up base in Africa, because I believe this is one amongst very few, if there are any others actually, that will compete with it on the continent. And it is my most sincere hope, Madam Speaker, that we can conclude on this process as soon as possible, preferably even before we go on recess. I don't know if our colleagues from the Assembly will agree to our amendments so that we bring it to a close, but it's one of those bills that you don't want to take too long, Madam Speaker, before bringing the process of consideration to a close. There are many things that they are amending, Madam Speaker, which I believe if you read the report, you'll find justification too. There are other things also in this bill, even without the amendments, Madam Speaker, of our colleagues from the ICT committee. Personally, I would find challenge to support, and I'd wish perhaps that they add on to the amendments, like clause 23, Madam Speaker, that gives powers to this Technopolis Development Control, that this authority shall have the power within a Technopolis to regulate zoning, including land use and density of development. It is my hope. You know, land use, Madam Speaker, is a devolved function. And this authority that you're creating is heavy with the presence of what you would call the national government. There needs to be a counterbalance with regards to existence of also either bodies or representatives from county government, so that if they were to pass a policy, I understand that there is need to ensure that there is proper regulated land use, Madam Speaker, in any designated area that will have been gazetted as a technopolis. But, Madam Speaker, that needs to be done within the realization that this country, Madam Speaker, under the new constitution, has two levels of government, and therefore there's need to have representation from, Madam Speaker, the national as well as the county governments in making some of these decisions, and so on and so forth, Madam Speaker. There are many other things that I have wished to say, but I'm cognizant of the fact that there is time limited, and I want to grant also my colleague, Senator Osotsi, sufficient time. You know, Senator Osotsi is fairly adept at these issues. Anytime you mention any statement to do with the data protection, I have noted actually, you will get a comment from Senator Osotsi. The same way if you mention something to do with, no, I don't want to get into trouble, Madam Speaker. And it's late in the day, Madam Speaker, because I don't want to lose track of the things that I'm saying. Therefore, with those remarks, I beg to move and request the Senator for Vihiga, Senator Godfrey Osotsi, to second this bill. I thank you.
Majority Leader, Senator Osotsi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and Majority Leader. Indeed, Madam Speaker, I'm delighted to second this bill. And I want to say that this piece of legislation is one of the very important things that were contained in Vision 2030 that was started after 2013. And it's taken a while for us to realize the benefits of having technopolis in our country. Madam Speaker, you can imagine that the idea about having Konza City was started during Kibaki regime. Kibaki finished, went, and then it continued on to President Uhuru's regime. He finished and he went. Up to now, we are still talking about Konza City. By now, we should actually be accruing the benefits of Konza City. Madam Speaker, I've read through the bill, and one thing that I'm happy with the bill is that there was an initial bill that was proposing to have Konza Metropolis Authority. I had a problem with that, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, because how many metropolis authority were we going to establish? Because Konza is one, someone else would have come with another one, and another one, and another one. So we'll end up having so many authorities, and that would be a problem. So the idea of now consolidating all this in one metropolis authority, I think is an idea that we should all support, so that anyone seeking to run a metropolis can be allowed to run it, but under the regulation of one authority, which in this case is Metropolis Authority. So on that basis, I support this bill. But Madam Speaker, even as I support this bill, because I know it's going to bring order in the way metropolis are going to be established, they're going to be run, how land use within those metropolis is going to be managed, how licensing of various institution is going to be done, it's a good idea. But it is also myopic. And I'm sorry to say that this bill, there are provisions which are myopic. Madam Speaker, in a metropolis, you cannot limit the metropolis to a geographical area. You cannot limit a metropolis to a buffer zone, just a defined area, and say this number of acres of land will be used by Konza City. Madam Speaker, we know technologies are growing every day. And therefore, the idea of limiting, for example, Konza to only about 2,023 acres, I think that one is myopic, and we should amend so that there is no limitation. It's like now saying we want to have a city. That city must be established within 1,000 acres of land. Madam Speaker, cities are growing every day. Institutions are growing every day. So I have a problem with that limitation, that a metropolis will be limited to a particular size of a buffer zone, a particular size of a geographical area. It is not proper. It is not proper thinking. And given that, Madam Speaker, this is going to be an area that is going to host technologies, ICT technologies, it is not proper. Because in ICT, Madam Speaker, and I'm talking as someone who is very experienced in this field, Madam Speaker, we have something that is called, when you are conceptualizing an idea, a product, or a solution in ICT, you must look at the wider context. Anytime, for example, if you are developing a piece of software, think widely about what other things can ride on that solution you are building. For example, Mr. Speaker, you have seen institutions like telecommunication companies establishing a solution. And then after a very short time, you hear that they want to scale it up, introduce another solution to it. Every time they do that, it is costly. That's why in IT, we encourage that every time you are conceptualizing a solution, you must have a wider thinking. That wider thinking is not reflected in this bill because it is limiting a metropolis, a technopolis, to only 2,000 acres of land, Madam Speaker. It's not making sense. So even as the National Assembly has processed this bill, and now it has come to the Senate, one of the key amendments should actually to remove this provision. Let the land use regulation be there, but don't limit the land size. That will be myopic. And more so, Madam Speaker, because this bill under Section 20 of the bill is recommending that all digital services, government digital services, should go to metropolis, technopolis, Konza City. Tax, immigration, permit and approval, licensing of business, the Ministry of ICT, and regulatory bodies like CA and all other IT institutions should go to Konza City. If you are saying that and you are limiting land size, then there is a problem, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, on that issue of limitation of land size and the issue of having a buffer zone, I think that is not good thinking. That is not wisdom. This Senate should amend that so that we allow what we call ability to scalability. We allow scalability. That is the right word of IT I wanted to use. And that is why every countries, these modern countries, with modern technologies, they have established what you call smart cities. In those smart cities, if you go to China, you go to India, you go to Russia and other countries, the smart cities have no limitation or boundaries. They have no limitation. This is the first technopolis that is being defined in terms of number of acres. Madam Speaker, just look at the definition of Konza City, for example. Look at the definition of Konza City. This is what it says. It says, Konza's metropolis means all that parcel of land known as land reference number 991-8/6, measuring 23.6 hectares or thereabout. Is that how you define a technopolis? No, you cannot define a technopolis based on the definite size of land. This bill cannot pass in the form it is in, Madam Speaker. We will have done injustice to this country. So I said I'm supporting it, but with some reservations, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you look at the function of the authority, that the authority will allocate land to investors. I mean, are we going to take away the work of Ministry of Land and give it to this authority, or National Land Commission and give it to this authority? I think that must be looked at, because this is another area that land grabbers will come in and allocate themselves land in Konza City and other technopolis, Madam Speaker. That must be looked at. But Madam Speaker, I'm being encouraged by my colleagues to be very brief, but you know, this is my area, Madam Speaker. So let me educate this house a bit in these areas. Madam Speaker, another area of concern is the composition of the board. Madam Speaker, the board has a chairperson, it has a PS, Ministry of ICT, PS, Treasury, Attorney General, and 5 other persons appointed by the Cabinet Secretary through a competitive process. I want to say that the reason why this country cannot maximize on its huge resources of human resources in the ICT industry is because in institutions that are supposed to be headed by people who understand technology, people who understand IT, are being headed by people who have no idea about IT. And we are repeating this mistake here, Madam Speaker. If you look at Communication Authority, it's being headed by a journalist. He has no idea about ICT. If you look at ICT Authority, it's being headed by someone who does not understand ICT. For the first time, Madam Speaker, I will be sponsoring an amendment to say that the chairperson of this authority must have someone who is educated, knowledgeable in an ICT environment, either software engineering, artificial intelligence, or those kind of things. Not just to appoint someone. You may find a politician is appointed to be the chairperson of this authority. This authority will not accomplish its mission. And the 5 persons, it must be clear that at least 3 of those persons must have people with an ICT background, attested, verified, and measured experience in ICT industry. That way we'll make progress as a country. But when we start this kind of ICT institutions and give jobs to people who have no background in ICT, we end up not. And Madam Speaker, you know, in the last parliament, I came up with a bill called ICT Practitioners Bill, where I wanted to have a legal framework to regulate the ICT profession so that we get to understand who is an expert and who is not an expert.
Senator Osotsi, Senator Medhu has something to inform you about what you're debating.
Senator Medhu calls me a cousin, so let me allow him to.
Senator Medhu.
Yeah, this new arrangement is very good. Now Senator Osotsi can trust that. I just wanted to inform him in the spirit of what he's proposing, that he would want professionals to take, especially roles on profession that they can, they are professionals in. I've just Googled. The chairperson of the ICT authority is called Mary Wambui Mungai, and there is no known educational background of this person. Her profession is just businesswoman.
Thank you for that information. All of us know who she is and her level of experience. That's what and heading a critical institution like
Is there a relationship between that information and what you were debating? What's your point of order,
no,
Senator
he
Chirarike?
was informing me.
Share accuracy of facts because she has said he said he know who she is. Madam Speaker, accuracy of facts. Does it mean that Kenyans who are not experts in, for example, legislative agenda like him is a forester? Should he be here? Mr. Speaker, like I'm not saying his name, Madam Speaker, we need to protect, and this habit of Senator Metu, like his party leader, Wamunyoro, he wants to profile the community. Does it mean Mary Wambui, who is an established, Madam Speaker, a renowned business, this is a person who is an entrepreneur from the scratch.
Let him finish.
Yes,
Senator
Madam
Medu,
Speaker,
maintain your silence to finish.
Mary Wambui is one of the trailblazers in women who have built an enterprise from scratch. Unlike some individuals who are here, they have never built even a Chang'an kiosk. Madam Speaker, you need to protect this issue of profiling communities, and individuals must stop. Mr. Speaker, and that is why I'm saying it is mentioning because she is a Kikuyu. And we know where he is headed, Madam Speaker.
Senator Chirarike, Senator Chirarike, so Senator Chirarike, what's your point of order?
The point of order is under Article 10 of the Constitution. Every Kenyan has a right to sit in, and that is why if today, Madam Speaker, for example,
you must,
if we were, Madam Speaker, let me just conclude,
Senator Chirarike,
so that you can rule.
Senator Sifuna, let me finish with Senator Chirarike. Can you give an indication of which standing order you are using?
Madam Speaker, I'm using standing order 105 and Article 10 of the Constitution. One of the reasons is even regional balance.
But what is the point of order?
The point, Madam Speaker,
Senator
the
Medu,
point, Madam Speaker, is Kenyans are watching, is perception that Kenyans who are not come from particular expertise should not be leading there. Like I'm using an example in the Senate. He is a forester. If we wanted to go for people who know legislative drafting, he should not be here. Then why profile individuals, Madam Speaker?
Okay, Senator Chirarike, resume your seat. Senator Medu, have you understood the point of order? Senator Sifuna, resume your seat, Senator Medu. Let's first hear Senator. I will deal with it. Let me hear the standing order, the point of order being raised by Senator Sifuna. Give him the mic.
Go to this. Okay. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 121, 1B. Senator Chirarike is in the habit of raising knowingly false points of order and using that opportunity to introduce debate that had nothing to do with what was being said on the floor. I don't remember Senator Osotsi mentioning the name of any tribe, neither did Senator Methu. Honorable Speaker, Osotsi was speaking about getting people who are fit for purpose and competence. We have lost the culture of meritocracy in this country. How can you be a dairy farmer and you want to head an ICT farm? So you just wait for somebody who has expertise, and when we have a vacancy in the Kenya Dairy Board, we will call you. There is nothing wrong with that, Honorable Speaker. But this thing of Senator Chirarike repeatedly rising on false points of order, I want to beseech the seat of the Speaker to punish this gentleman for once, Honorable Speaker. This is too much. It is too much.
Senator,
and Honorable Speaker, can I finish, Honorable
Yes,
Speaker?
but I need to guide you. refer to the conduct of Senator Cherargei during these proceedings.
That's what I'm
So
doing.
that it confines me to give direction within what has been done now. Because if you refer to previous sessions, we do not have the record there. So refer to what he has done now, so we
Honorable-
can confine our directions to what he has done
Honorable
within
Speaker,
this session.
Honorable Speaker, the Hansard exists for a purpose. It is possible for us to establish conduct that is established, that it is repeated conduct. In fact, today is just one of those opportunities that have actually been given to address a question of frivolous and false points of order. But Senator Cherargei has abused this, and the speakership should note that there are some people here now, Honorable Speaker, who should not be allowed to rise on points of order. It cannot be that you are the only person who knows when other people are out of order. Can you allow Senator Esio Kenyuru to also rise on a point of order for a change? Because it can't just be Cherargei, and we are getting sick and tired of this rubbish from Senator Cherargei.
Senator Sifuna, rubbish is not, the reference to the word rubbish is not parliamentary language. Can you withdraw the reference of that word rubbish? Then I deal with the direction that needs.
Honorable Speaker,
withdraw that.
deal with the infractions in the order in which they came.
First,
deal with him, then you can deal
that,
with me.
withdraw that, and then I deal with Cherargei on that issue.
Speaker, I withdraw.
Thank you. Senator Cherargei. You know, I will give you a chance, but Senator Medhu, you will now maintain silence. I deal with that issue before I come to you. I've given the direction on it. Senator Cherargei, you were asking for a point of order. Your point of order, first of all, was not clear because you were not clear what you were seeking from Senator Medhu. And while I'm on that point of order, the information that was offered by Senator Medhu to Senator Osotsi had no relation to the Technopolis. You introduced a different organization and cited the chair of a different. He talked about Technopolis and qualifications of people who should serve in that Technopolis, the chair of the authority. Senator Osotsi, can you clarify whether you mentioned CA? He's here. Yes. Can you let him clarify for me whether he did? Senator Osotsi, did you mention CA or ICT?
Madam Speaker, I mentioned Communication Authority.
Okay, then that was in order for the point of information to be served. So, Senator Cherargei, regarding your seeking points of orders on several occasions, it is true that you do seek for many points of order, but I would refer to the one that is with respect to these proceedings. And sometimes the points of orders you seek are unusually more than the rest of the senators. That is a point that can be clarified from the Hansard. Don't use unparliamentary language. You are only implored, Senator Cherargei, to be more reasonable when you are seeking the point of order. For instance, now the senator is raising his hand when I'm the one who is addressing and giving direction on your point of order. So Senator Cherargei, I think it is good you be reasonable in your attempt to seek. While it is your right under the standing orders, it is important to be reasonable so that your points of order don't become disruptive to the debate and to the flow of thought of a senator who is on his feet. Senator Medhu. Honorable senators, we will give you a chance when the House resumes. Honorable senators. Honorable. It is now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the House, the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 23rd July, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Osotsi, you'll have a balance of 7 minutes to finish seconding that motion.
we have the first key motion that is coming up is the consideration of the report of the Public Investment Committee on the Social Service Administration and Agriculture, on the consideration of performance audit reports by the Auditor General on the provision of services to persons with disability. Now, this is a very important motion that is coming up because it is dealing with issues of persons with disability.